Hey guys, it's Jan here. I was super psyched to see the first part of the Daredevil Season 2 trailer, which gives us a great look at the conflict between Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, and Matt Murdock's Daredevil. So I wanted to break down the trailer and explain some of the Easter eggs and references. Just before I get stuck in, there will be potential spoilers for Season 2. If you want to avoid those spoilers and get a refresher for Season 1, check out my video 15 Things You Probably Didn't Know About Daredevil. Okay, this trailer is definitely all about establishing the Punisher's origin story. After a shot of Castle's home and pictures of his family, we get this interesting shot of him sitting in front of what looks like New York's Central Park carousel, with the lights clicking off one by one. This, along with the creepy sound of a child singing, is likely a nod to how Frank Castle lost his wife and children in the comics when they were gunned down by mobsters in Central Park. There's more hints that this location is significant later in the trailer, with Punisher taking out some bad guys at the carousel in this shot. The X-ray of the skull that Karen's handling is an Easter egg for the Punisher's signature white skull we see on his comic book costume. But look a bit closer at the shot from the trailer and you'll also see Karen's fingers run just behind a dark circle to the left of the skull, a likely reference to the bullet wound that Frank Castle suffered to his head during the mob attack which killed his family. Also there in the background are what looks like case files that Karen might be going over, and there seems to be a bloodied victim in one of the photos with meat hanging around him, which ties in with this set photo of Daredevil standing in what looks like a meatpacking warehouse. And it's possibly a nod to the fact that in Punisher's extended world of comics, video games and movies, he's used equipment like meat hooks and grinders or even meat itself to deal with opponents. For example, in the Streets of Laredo comics, the 1989 and 2004 Punisher movies, and the 2005 Punisher video game which features a meatpacking plant. And the trailer also alludes to the Punisher's military past in the comic books, when we see some of his weapons which he's known for having tons of in the comics, and when we hear the words about how he's taking out gangs with military precision. In the comics, Frank Castle spent time in the Marines, 4 years in Vietnam, and also ran Black Ops missions. The one batch, two batch book we see likely belonged to Castle's child, but given that the show's production designer and showrunner could easily have chosen anything to illustrate the front cover, the fact they chose bears feels like a nod to the time that the Punisher used a group of polar bears in a zoo to attack the Nucci crime family. And given Castle's military background, the phrase one batch, two batch might be a reference to the Jessica Jones character Will Simpson, who is the MCU's version of the comic book character Frank Simpson, aka Nuke, who underwent a super soldier program similar to the one which created Captain America. Simpson's medication consists of one red pill to get him amped up, two white ones to keep him even, and one blue one to bring him down. Will Simpson has a military background and the show implies what he went through made him unstable, so it'll be interesting to see if there's any connection in this shared universe between him and Castle. The Punisher's phrase penny and dime as he goes to take a shot could be a nod to the comic book title 10-1 from the Punisher War Journal series, and the number 10 also seems significant given there's a number 10 card we can spot later at the scene of a massacre. Or it could be a reference to the penny and dime trick, where a penny is used to make a dime disappear, which in this case would mean that the Punisher is making a group of bad guys disappear. While Matt's discussing his Catholic guilt with Father Lantom, we glimpse a crucifix and what could be a nun's habit, a hint perhaps that Matt returns to meet a nun at St. Agnes's orphanage. We saw the orphanage, which is run by nuns, briefly in a Season 1 flashback scene to Matt's childhood where he met Stick. In the comic books we learn that Matt's mother Maggie became a nun called Margaret, so it'll be interesting to see if Matt meets her this season. By the way, this is the same orphanage that Skye from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. grew up in. The DA's office gets a mention in the trailer and seems to be passing information onto Matt Murdock, a likely nod to the new Season 2 character Blake Tower, played by Steven Ryder. In the comics, Blake Tower is New York's district attorney and helps Daredevil catch various criminals. There's quite a bit of interaction between Matt Murdock and Karen Page in this trailer, and a hint at a likely romance between them. In the comics, Karen is one of Matt's longest-running love interests. There are also some fast-cut rooftop scenes with Daredevil and the Punisher arguing. One of the shots shows Daredevil up against some bricks, which is likely the same moment from this set photo in which the Punisher has chained up Daredevil. It's an iconic moment in the comics where Daredevil finds himself in a Sophie's Choice situation. Daredevil disagrees with the Punisher taking out criminals and believes they need to be arrested and punished by the law. Punisher is about to kill Dino Nucci, a member of a prominent crime family, and gives Daredevil a gun, telling him the only way to stop him shooting Nucci is to kill the Punisher himself. In either case, Daredevil has to murder someone himself or let someone be murdered. It's a really great scene, and later in the comics the Punisher sets Daredevil free after knocking him out, which is likely why we see him later in the trailer using a chain to fight in a couple of shots. The Punisher's line to Daredevil that you're one bad day away from being me goes back to the Daredevil comics and also reminded me of the Joker's one bad day line in the Batman comic The Killing Joke. We also get a look at two different Daredevil masks in the trailer. Here we see the same red mask he had at the end of season 1, and later he's wearing a black mask. The black mask is damaged in this shot, but it matches the black mask in one of the official set photos. And to cap off the awesome trailer, we get an introduction to Elodie Young's Elektra, who we see already knows Matt. There was a reference to her in season 1 when Foggy asked Matt about the Greek girl he dated in college, and Matt said it didn't work out between them. In the comics, Elektra is the daughter of a Greek ambassador, is trained in martial arts, and has had an on-off relationship with Matt Murdock. I'll have more discussion of Elektra in my video about part 2 of the trailer, but it's worth pointing out now that we didn't actually get to see Wilson Fisk return yet in this trailer. I'm hopeful he will be in season 2 as he hires Elektra as a bodyguard in the comics to protect himself against the Punisher. So what other Easter eggs did you spot in the trailer, and what do you think about Jon Bernthal as the Punisher? Let me know in the comments below. Next week I'll have another breakdown and Easter egg review of the part 2 trailer, so do make sure you're subscribed to get that. And in the meantime, why not take a look at some of my other videos, including 15 cool behind the scenes facts about the making of Daredevil, Jessica Jones season 1 Easter eggs, and Deadpool Easter eggs. Thanks for watching, yippee-ki-yay movie lovers!